With the second test of this year's Ashes series wrapped up in a draw, the talk of the town in cricket circles has been the contest between Jofra Archer and a reformed Steve Smith. But with Australia's batting performance in the series being middling at best, Smith's become the linchpin holding the team together, scoring 286 runs across his two first test innings. Having seriously injured 4 separate players in the 2019 Cricket World Cup with lightning-fast bounces, Archer, in his first ever test match for England, bowled short at 150 k's per hour until Smith was finally struck, first on the forearm and soon after high on the back of the neck, forcing him to retire hurt. And England finally had a chance. But despite passing an initial concussion test, Smith was clearly in trouble when he returned to the crease that day. He did manage to make another 12 runs before failing to play a ball that was actually bowled at the stumps, ending a good innings in an LBW that really didn't need the third umpire's assistance. But in spite of the commentary team and English media's unending adulation for Archer, he found himself drawing the ire of Australian cricket fans after cameras showed him laughing while Smith was still lying on the ground, and didn't so much as approach the opposition player to check, if he was still alive after being struck millimetres from the vertebral artery, which is the one that split open and hemorrhaged into New South Wales cricketer Phil Hughes' brain in 2014. A big part of contemporary fast bowling is intimidating your opponent. Whilst it's not likely Archer ever intends to injure or kill his opponents, he's clearly accepted the fact that it's possible, even probable given his extreme pace and the incredibly short time in which batsmen will have to react. He's the fastest bowler we'll see this Ashes series for sure. It's not something he does occasionally either. His very first ball to Steve Smith's concussion replacement, Marnus Labuschagne, was so high it was called a wide, so he followed it up with a blow right in the middle of Labuschagne's helmet grill. He hit the ground just like Smith, but luckily for both himself and the team, was able to get right back up and play the best innings of anyone. Captain Tim Paine was hit in a similar fashion a short time later. Now, I thought cricket was a fairly tame, at times even boring sport that private school kids played. But after seeing this incident happen live, with not one commentator discussing the intentional bowling of balls that can and have killed people, I dug a little deeper. After all, Australia have used the short ball as a weapon for decades. Just ask Brett Lee how many people he hit over the course of his career. More than 170 people have died in Australia alone playing cricket, with statistics on the matter going as far back as 1858. Not all of them were batters killed by bowlers, nor were all of them even played with a real cricket ball. Former Nationals leader and Deputy Prime Minister John Anderson killed his sister when she was just 12 years old, practicing cricket in the front yard with his old man, while a baby girl was killed in her mother's arms in their Sydney backyard by a wayward ball from a neighbouring house. Wicketkeepers, bowlers, fielders, umpires, spectators, innocent bystanders and even groundsmen and women have been killed by the game of cricket, with injuries ranging from serious falls to chest impacts so hard a player's heart has stopped right there on the field. Though the contactless nature of the game sees it with a better injury record than many contact sports, a flying ball in a game of cricket is still to this day a deadly missile, posing an imminent threat to life in a way that no other ball sport that comes to mind does. When players can't even dive on a football because of the risk it poses to other players' legs, why does nobody bat an eye when a leather-coated rock is hurled repeatedly at the face of an opposing player? After Smith was ruled out of the third test with his injury, news forums were abuzz with references to something called bodyline, which was a deliberate tactic by England in the 1932-33 Ashes series to bowl the ball high down the leg side, resulting in a need to block the ball to physically defend oneself. Let me read you one line from Wikipedia in particular. Critics considered the tactic intimidating and physically threatening to the point of being unfair in a game that was supposed to uphold gentlemanly traditions, unquote. So much so that laws were changed to prevent the tactic bearing fruit, if not preventing its use in the first place. But with all the significant advances in helmet safety over the years, the number of short-pitch deliveries bowled today would without a doubt shock and dismay batting specialists of the past like Donald Bradman. But perhaps more important than all of this is what happens when junior players imitate the tactics of their heroes. So what happens when body shots and headhunters are deployed in numbers at an under-16s match or a school game? Steve Smith is an elite athlete with elite reflexes, but there is enormous potential for injury at the game's lower levels if this strategy to remove formidable opposing batsmen and women becomes more common. Cricket's still going to be a dangerous game if head-high bounces are banned. One way to suppress the tactic, without favouring the batsmen and women too much, would be to designate any ball over shoulder height as a wide. Bowlers would still be able to launch a bouncer down the pitch every now and again in the hope the batting player might stuff up a hook shot and get caught, but there would be enough risk to the bowler's stats that it would be used rarely. Currently, bowlers can bowl 2 and over every over all day before it's called a no ball. It's already a wide if the ball goes over the head, so bringing that limit down less than a foot, it's not going to ruin the game. It's no more nanny state than the idea of prohibiting field setups on the leg side that allow the bowler to benefit from so-called bodyline balls. So there's already precedent. And with Steve Smith, who many Ashes commentators have called the greatest Test cricket batsman of our time, this far from suffering the same fate as Philip Hughes, I think it's time we stopped accepting death as the possible result of good bowling.